The Astros. Carlos Beltran went deep 3 times last night for the Mets. Young guns Bud Norris and Dylan G square off on the mound tonight. The Astros and the Mets in Minute Maid next on Fox Sports Houston. From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, the Astros open a 3-game weekend series against the New York Mets. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Astros had a day off yesterday, and they might have, had they chosen to, savor that walk-off win on Wednesday, JD.
Yeah, boy, it was a nice win, a big game-winning hit delivered by Hunter Pence. Now the Mets come to town. One of the 2 series the Astros have won this year was in New York earlier this season. Tonight it's Bud Norris and Dylan G for the Mets. Dylan G, a right-hander that we have never seen before. He's from just up the road in Cleveland, Texas. He's got a real good changeup. You just saw it there. Not a real hard thrower, but a guy who knows how to pitch. But Norris, on the other hand, is a real hard thrower. He's had that strikeout pitch working again this year. One of the best strikeout rates in all of baseball. Had 9 punch-outs in his last start in Pittsburgh, a game in which he lost, but pitched quite well.
Coming up, it's a battle of hard-hitting outfielders as well. Hunter Pence and Carlos Beltran. Beltran, the former Astro, unloading 3 homers last night. Pence on a 15-game hitting streak and opposing another UT Arlington player, Dylan G, next. At least they split up. By the Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. Beautiful night in downtown Houston. Cooler. Humidity dropped after the storm came through yesterday. The roof just rolled back about a half an hour ago. And it is going to be gorgeous for these fans here tonight. As Bud Norris warms up, here's the starting lineup for Terry Collins' New York Mets, brought to you by Xfinity. Jose Reyes leads off at shortstop, and he is quite a package of offense at .315 this season. Josh Tolley, the catcher, bats second. It's David Wright, who's had a couple of days off, returning to play third base. Carlos Beltran had the big night in Colorado last night. He's in right field. Jason Bay's in left. Daniel Murphy takes over at first base for the injured slugger Ike Davis. Justin Turner's at second base. Jason Pridey in center field. Dylan G, the pitcher.
And for the Astros tonight, it's hard-throwing right-hander Bud Norris. You look at his line for his last 5 starts, 2-1 with a 1.65 ERA. One of those coming in New York against the Mets back on April 20th. He allowed 3 runs in 6 innings of work in that game. The Astros won 4-3. He got a no decision. But, he's been able to lower that ERA with almost every start so far this year. Defensively, it's Leaborn and Pence in the outfield. Johnson, Barmas, Hall, and Wallace around the infield. And Humberto Quintero is the catcher.
The Astros winning 1 out of 3 against the Reds. Now continue this homestand, which concludes Sunday afternoon. Then they go on a 3-city road trip. At home, they're 8-11 this season. Brad Mills' club overall has won 14 and lost 23. Meanwhile, the Mets have improved some in the last week. They've won 5 of their last 7. And Terry Collins' club now is 17-20. Both clubs are in last place in their divisions, and both are 7.5 behind the leaders as they play tonight.
Just got to read that morning paper upside down, and then you're in first place.
Jose Reyes, .315 with a homer, has driven in 14. .360 on base average. And he smacks one on the ground on the first pitch into right field past Bill Hall for a leadoff single for Reyes.
So much for that leadoff man seeing some pitches and working the count. And this is what he did in that series in New York. Was very aggressive early and really had a nice series. There's Terry Collins, the former Astros manager, back in the saddle after a hiatus after he lost that Angels job. Career record of .461 and .454 for TC.
Reyes bears watching at first. He has 12 steals in 15 attempts. Josh Tolley, the batter.
And what comes first, the attempted steal or the attempted pickoff by Q?
We have a dynamic confrontation tonight. There's Paul 1 to Tolley. Tolley at .234, hitters driven in 10.
But effective against the Mets in that game back in April with throwing that slider, hard slider in on the left-handed hitters under the hands. There are the numbers for that start. 6 strikeouts, 1 walk, 106 pitches. Lefties have been problematic this year, hitting .341 against them. While he is absolutely chewed up and spit out right-handers, they're hitting a .145 off of Bud.
In Bud's career against the Mets, he's 1-1 with a 4.82 ERA for 3 starts. Coming into this one with some really good recent outings. That one's in the dirt. Brett Wallace down on a knee to block it.
First baseman has to be aware with this battery. Q loves to throw to the bases, and Bud's got a very quick pickoff move, and he likes to air it out over there too. So Brett Wallace will be challenged tonight with this tandem, making sure he doesn't look away. Sometimes with Bud, yeah, boom, got him.
Yes, he did. Picked off Reyes for out number 1.
I can't think of another right-hander over the years who's as quick as Bud with that pickoff move.
Nice job by Wallace.
He didn't have a particularly big lead either. They got him on the elbow before the hand got the bag.
Now Tolley swings at the 2-1 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's 86 degrees at game time. Winds out to left at 17 miles per hour. Reyes back to the dugout. And Toley's crowded by that pitch.
Is that baseball's version of the perp walk when the guy gets picked off and they get the shot of him walking down the length of the dugout?
That's it.
The walk of shame.
Norris now walks Toley. David Wright will come up. First time Norris faced the Mets last year in August here. He pitched a very good game. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. He won that one 3-2. Wright, we mentioned, has had a couple days off. He's been banged up ever since a collision at third base with Carlos Beltran when the Astros were in New York weeks ago. 234, 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. His upper back has been bothering him. He leads the club in walks with 22.
Yeah, that's what this Met team does well. They've walked more than anybody in the league. They haven't hit for a high average, but the on-base percentage pretty darn good because of all the walks.
Terry Collins' club is 6th in runs scored in the National League. Varmus to his right, gets it on to second. Bill Hall on to first, and the stretching Wallace takes it for a 6-4-3 double play. No runs a hit, nobody left, no score. Starting lineup for Brad Mills brought to you by Xfinity. Michael Bourne, Clint Varmus, Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee, Brett Wallace, Chris Johnson, Bill Hall, Humberto Quintero, Bud Norris.
Dylan G for the Metropolitans tonight. And he's made 3 starts. He's 2-0 with a 265 as a starter. He's also worked 3 times out of the bullpen. As I mentioned in the pregame, he's from up the road in Cleburne. Went to University of Texas Arlington, the same school that Hunter Pence attended. So he's probably put a little pressure on the pass list here tonight.
21, we're told. No balls, 2 strikes. And a nice moment for this 25-year-old right-hander to come back close to home, compete. And he was a 21st round pick in 07, got $20,000 to sign.
Inflation. I was a 21st round pick in 1982 and got a hair. Show up for work if you want to work. I got a sweatsuit with my bonus money. At least he could buy a car.
Well, he's made it pay off. Despite the fact that his pitches are ranked below average, he has command of them.
He likes that changeup. If you know how to pitch and you can execute a game plan, if you've got good enough. So there's a threshold. If you can just be so short stuff-wise, it's very difficult to compete. And that's when you have to really be able to trick some hitters. Or just a complete unwillingness to give in like Jamie Moyer. Typically a guy like G, the hitters will talk about his fastball, say that's hitting speed. Those guys that sit right around 89, 90 miles an hour.
One fouls it away. Well, G has certainly competed well. He's made 8 major league starts, 5 of them last year. And he's gone at least 5 1/3 in each. He's given up no more than 3 earned runs in any of them. That ranks pretty well down through recent Mets years.
And that's the difference maker there. When you've got the plus changeup, you don't have to have a great fastball. The Mets defensively have Bay, Pretty, and Beltran in the outfield. Right Reyes, Turner, Murphy on the infield, like Davis is hurt, so Daniel Murphy, who's been playing some second base, slides over to first. Josh Tolley is the catcher for Dylan G. Very good on the left side of that infield.
Clint Barmas is next, and this one goes to right field. Carlos Beltran. 2 outs. Dylan G got a no decision last time out against the Dodgers Saturday. The Mets won the game 4-2, gave up 2 runs in 5 1/3. Now he faces Hunter Pence. It's UT Arlington against UT Arlington. So 8 starts in his career, a 4-2 record, a 2.82 ERA. Speaking well for Dylan G, maximizing his talents in the major leagues.
I think the fun factoid about him, statistically, he has not given up a walk or a home run to a right-handed batter yet this year.
Here's ball 1 to Hunter, sizzling on a 15-game hitting streak. 307 for the season, 5 homers, 31 runs batted in. His streak is the longest active streak in the majors. His career high, a 16-game streak in 08. And he's worked the count his way at 2-0. These two have met. They've talked a few times, but did not play at the same time for UT Arlington.
There should be an alumni function here tonight.
Yeah.
Be a good fundraiser.
It would be. We could get some good autographs. 2 balls and a strike. Hunter's hit .355 during his 15-game streak with 2 homers, and he's driven in 14. Taps the breaking pitch foul. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dylan G on the road has made 3 starts in his career, a 3-0 record, a 1.83 ERA.
Is he any relation to Kenny G?
Not that we know of. Hunter cracks a line drive to left center field, and that one's caught by Bay. Well hit ball for out number 3, and it's 0-0 after 1.
All Summer, presented by Minute Maid, is back and available for every home game this summer. For every full-price adult ticket you purchase in the outfield or view deck sections, you can get up to 2 free tickets for kids 14 and under. Visit Astros.com for tickets. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. The boos were there for Carlos Beltran, who was announced as the leadoff man here in the 2nd inning for the Mets. Relatively tame, though. And And he takes ball one after his big night last night with the 3 long balls. He had hit 3 homers in his previous 28 games. He has 8 home runs now for the year. That one goes on a line. Hunter Pence is there. One out for Bud Norris. Now, the big hole in the Mets lineup right now belongs to Ike Davis, who's on the disabled list with a .302 batting average, 7 homers, 25 runs batted in. Beltran picking up some of the slack recently, but Jason Bay and David Wright have really struggled in the early going. Bay with 1 homer, 5 runs batted in, has a .215 average. There's strike one. Last year he had concussion problems and missed a whole lot of action.
Missed most of the first month of this season as well. Wainwright, a very productive hitter, a guy who works deep counts, hits for power, usually pretty good average.
He didn't play after July last year and then just came off the disabled list this year when the Astros were in New York April 21st. 2 balls and a strike to Jason Bay, 32 years old, native of Trail, British Columbia, Canada. 2-2 for Bud Norris against Bay. Bud has struck out at least 6 in all 7 of his starts. You have to go back to Mike Scott to find an Astros pitcher who did that to open the season. And that's out number 2. First K of the night for Bud. 8th in the league in strikeouts.
Well, Fox Tracks is brought to you by Steele. That slider right there for Bay, but mystified by it. Could not make contact.
Daniel Murphy's playing first base in the absence of Ike Davis. Murphy takes it. It's ball 1 to him. .255 with 2 homers. Murphy's driven in 11. Had a big home run against the Astros in New York April 20th. Announcer Norris. And in the second inning, the Mets go down quickly. It's 0-0. No score, bottom of the second inning. Carlos Lee on a 6-game hitting streak gets it going and looks at ball 1 at .229 with 3 homers. Carlos has 20 runs batted in. 3 hits away from 2,000 for his career. 2 hits away from 2,000 for his career. Sharp single to left. First Astros base runner. Carlos has a 7-game streak.
Average slowly but surely inching up. in the more familiar territory. Still has a ways to go, but had some good swings of late. I have to like the tone being set by both the pitchers tonight, both Norris and G. Very aggressive with their approach, working quickly, throwing a lot of strikes.
Brett Wallace is hitting .409 at home, .328 overall this season. 2 homers. He's driven in 11. Fastball in tight to him. Ball 1. Chris Johnson's on deck. Wallace went 2 for 10 in the Cincinnati series. David Wright is way off the third base line. But why wouldn't he be with Wallace where he normally hits the ball, and G is pounding him inside, so it's 2 balls, no strikes.
He hits a lot of balls up the middle. He does hit the occasional ball to the left side, but it's usually in the air when he does that. Much more than the occasional ball in the air to the left side. That's a stroke left center.
2-1 to Brett.
It's a situation where he's more likely to hit it where Wright is now positioned than he is right down the third base line.
The Astros and their opponents combined are averaging 9.49 runs per game this year. Second in the majors. Only Kansas City and the Kansas City opponents are averaging more runs per game than the Astros and their opponents.
Primarily because the Astros have given up way too many runs.
197. In tight again, ball 3. They've scored 154. They won a hard-fought game Wednesday.
Yeah, that was a good win. It was, it was going through one of those periods where a funk was starting to fall over the ball club. That was a nice win, especially heading into an off day.
Wallace takes a walk. That's his 14th. We go to Patty Smith.
Well, hey, baseball fans, Chevy is proud to support youth baseball leagues in your local community. If you would like to learn more about Chevy youth baseball programs, go to youthsportswired.com. And Bill, I guess since we're playing the Mets, it should be youth baseball.
Maybe so. 2 men on for CJ.
The great Fred Gwynn as the judge in that movie. My cousin Vinny.
Curveball's outside, ball 1. Johnson at 185 trying to get started. He has 4 homers, 13 runs batted in. CJ went 1 for 11 in the Cincinnati series. Astros players were here early for the Pink in the Park luncheon today over at Union Station. A lot of money raised for charity. 2-0. Johnson has walked 3 times. Now Tolley, Reyes come out to the mound.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I just got done saying how aggressive both pitchers were. And when Wallace came up there, G was pitching to the scouting report, which is pound him in, pound him in, pound him in. Well, when you pound somebody in, rarely are you throwing the ball in the strike zone. You're trying to jam him, trying to tie him up. And that's the whole key for Wally. If he can lay off that pitch that's in on his hands, and more times than not off the plate, he's going to draw a lot of walks, or he's going to get some pitches out over the plate to handle. But it's kind of gotten G now into this mode of not being quite as aggressive.
Well, he shoots one in for a strike. Tomorrow, the first 10,000 fans will receive a Chris Johnson bobblehead doll. Features CJ with a pink bat. Good looking bobblehead. Into left field. Carlos Lee's being sent home by Dave Clark. Jason Bay with a throw to the plate. Tolley with a tag. He got him. Bay with a one-hop throw to the catcher. Tolley gunned down Lee for out number 1. Johnson gets a single. Wallace stops at second.
A pretty aggressive send here with nobody out in the inning, but Dave Clark felt like Carlos could score this run on Bay, who made a nice, accurate throw home, and bang, bang play just got him. Carlos a little choppy making that turn at third base. See, the catcher gives him the back corner of the plate and then applies the tag. Stand in front of the plate, you're going to get smoked.
Angel Hernandez with the out call. Now Bill Hall takes ball one on a high curveball.
There's a chance that Carlos gone a little further away from home plate, more, towards the backstop. He might have been able to slap that back corner before the tag was applied, but it's tough to do when the throw's coming from left field.
Hall puts it in the air and it's fouled and out of play. That was the 5th outfield assist for the Mets this year.
As a base runner coming home from third on a throw from right field, you can kind of see the play develop. You can see the throw, you see how the catcher's set up, but when the throw's coming from the left fielder, it's behind you. You're not sure what's going on.
El Caballo gunned down. Quintero's on deck as Bill Hall tries to follow suit. The first 3 have reached base here.
And with the bottom of the order coming up, that helps to explain Dave Clark's aggressiveness in that situation as well.
Early in the ball game. Now normally he doesn't get that aggressive, but considering the circumstances you just went through, it is understandable.
Very few black and white plays in baseball. There's usually a gray area.
Reyes on the slow bouncer double clutches and gets the out at first. He wanted to go to second on Johnson, but gets Hall. Wallace to third, Johnson to second, 2 outs.
His best option may have been third base.
Might have.
He may have been thinking double play initially. I don't think he was going to get it, but that might have been his thinking. And then when he couldn't get the handle, there was no play to be had at second, and he's got enough arm and kind of bailed him out. He threw that from his heels and put a lot on it.
Humberto Quintero has runners in scoring position. Ball 1 with a pitcher spot due up next. Q, a .259 hitter, has driven in 7. Day baseball tomorrow. 3:05 start for game 2 of this series. And then Sunday a 1:05 finale for the homestand. Crack bat, it's in the air, and David Wright is backpedaling, giving way to Reyes. And G is out of trouble with no runs, 2 hits, 2 men left for the Astros. It's 0-0.
Budweiser tomorrow when the Astros host the Mets at 3:05. Beginning tomorrow at 12:30, military personnel can present valid military ID at windows 25 through 27 at Minute Maid Park box office to receive up to 4 free tickets to the game. 1,000 are available while supplies last. Visit astros.com/military for details. And that is a great way to honor our military personnel, Bill.
Really is terrific, Patty. Pre-game ceremonies feature a special first pitch, honor guard, and the presentation of the large American flag by U.S. veterans. Carlos Lee in left field, ready for the third inning now after being thrown out at the plate trying to score in the second. No score, and it's Turner leading it off. Justin at second base, a .269 hitter, has 3 runs batted in. Taking strike one. Turner may hit second against left-handed pitching. No balls, 2 strikes. Mets will see a left-hander tomorrow, and Jay Happ with R.A. Dickey on the mound for New York. They've done well against lefties. Whoa! Around the head.
Hello.
That was a scary 0-2 pitch.
You could see prior to the pitch, Q was asking for the high fastball, but there you go. He was accommodated, and Turner starting to drift towards home plate, just able to get out of harm's way. That would have been ugly. You got to be careful up there. Nothing wrong with pitching inside, nothing wrong with pitching up, but you got to be careful when it's up around the coconut.
Fouled away. Still 1-2 to 26-year-old Justin Turner from Long Beach, California, and Cal State Fullerton. He was drafted by Cincinnati, then traded to Baltimore. The Mets claimed him on waivers last year. He played in all 3 games when the Astros were in New York, going 2 for 9 in that series. Started 2 of the 3. And he struck him out.
Most hitters will tell you that that element of fear never completely goes away. It's always in the back of the mind. And after a fastball up around the head like that, it moves a little bit from the back towards the front of the mind, not only for the guy in the batter's box, but for everybody in both dugouts, and especially in that Met dugout. Tough to go out to that outside pitch with conviction if you've been undressed like that.
Now Jason Pridey, an excellent defensive player, looks at ball 1. 238 for Pridey, 3 homers, 8 runs batted in. 27 years old, from Phoenix. Drafted by Tampa Bay. Then he was taken in the Rule 5 draft after the 05 season by Minnesota. Mets claimed him on waivers early last year.
Kind of an ironic twist. His sister goes by the name of Pretty. She prefers Pretty, the pronunciation of that name.
Really?
Yeah. But sounds he didn't want to be a pretty boy. He's Pridey.
You made that up. Fly ball. There's Bill Hall. And it's out, number 2.
Could you see it right in gym class? You know, the first day of school in junior high. Pretty? We got Pretty in here? No, it's Pridey. It's Pridey.
Sounds like a family squabble. But there are families who pronounce the last name differently. In fact, the Biggio family was one of those. Dylan G has 1 hit and 5 at bats this season. Got a chance to fill in that starting rotation when there were injuries. Mike Pelfrey, the opening day starter. Jonathan Neese, R.A. Dickey. Chris Young went down with an injury.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have surgery again.
Chris Capuano, the 5th starter, but with Young going down, that gave G a chance to start. Norris goes after him with a fastball to make it 2-1. Norris 2-0 at home with a 1.40 ERA here.
How about that? Both clubs have lost a base runner on the bases. Reyes was picked off first. And the Astros hurt a little bit more when Carlos was thrown out at home plate. Bud gets G here. He will have faced a minimum through 3 innings. Looks like he's on his way to another solid start.
There's an article in USA Today about the no-hitters this year, 2 of them so far, and about candidates. And Bud was at the end of the article mentioned in the conversation. And that's a strikeout looking. That's number 3 for Bud Norris, and through the first 2.5, it's scoreless. You buy Steel. Visit SteelDealers.com. Buy Jack in the Box. Get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Southwest Airlines. New Rapid Rewards. It is an ideal night. Downtown Houston, low humidity, temperature just about perfect. Sun going down out there in the distance. The Oranges are at a good temperature right now. And the Astros come up in the bottom of the third with Bud Norris leading it off. Curveball spins up, and it's ball 1 from Dylan G. Norris has 2 hits and 12 at bats. Bud got a hit and drove in a run in the game at New York against R.A. Dickey. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Angel Hernandez is the home plate umpire tonight. Brad Mills was out talking with him after the top of the inning. It's 2-1. Mike Estabrook at first, Chad Fairchild at second, Bill Miller at third on this umpiring crew. Norris looks at ball 3. You picked up on that pace early for both these pitchers. Nice pace.
Wouldn't it be ironic if the first walk he issues to a right-handed batter all year is the opposing pitcher?
That's it.
How about that?
Crazy. Leadoff walk to the pitcher, the first all here to a right-handed batter, and Patty Smith has more.
Well, guys, I want to introduce you to our progressive fans of the game. I've got 4 girls up here who are really doing their part. Of course, it is Pink in the Park out here this weekend. The first 10,000 fans got this pink bag, but there's a whole lot more that is going on surrounding all this pink stuff. And I know you guys are doing a lot of stuff at your school as well, aren't you?
Yes, our teacher, Miss Caldwell, has started a charity league called Peace, Love, and Charity in our school where we raise money and awareness for breast cancer.
Yeah, she's really just inspired us to do our part, and we love her so much. We couldn't have asked for a better teacher.
I know you guys did a Pink in the Park walk as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, our whole school and our whole community has participated in the Paint Path Pink Walk, and it's just over the 4 years we've raised over $100,000, and it's just inspired us all about how much breast cancer is, like how important breast cancer is.
And I know this is very special to you because you were the one that got to cut the ribbon. You lost your mother to breast cancer recently, and I know she was a big Astros fan. How important is all this to you for her?
Yeah, I'm just really happy to see that people can just come out and support breast cancer and raise money. It's just, I know she would be happy to see everyone come out.
All right, you guys do a great job. You're all an inspiration. You guys are progressive fans of the game. It's girls like this who are keeping the awareness going, guys.
There's a shot off the leg of Jason G. Throws to first base. Safe. Michael Bourne has made it. Bourne with an infield hit off Dylan G's leg. And Michael smacked that through the box. Bud Norris getting to second base. Now they're going to come out and take a look at Dylan G's leg.
Let's see where it got him. He's good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Up on the backside. Should be fine. There'll be a bruise. And, a couple days from now, it'll be multi-hued.
Well, he scrambled. He made a strong throw. But
a lot of other guys are out, but not Michael Bourne. And so the Astros, who went single walk single to start the bottom of the second and came up empty, right back at it again here in the third. The first two men reaching. Now it's 2-3-4 coming up.
38 pitches for Dylan G. Clint Barmas hit the first pitch to right field for an out in the first inning. Hunter Pence is on deck. Showing bunt with the first baseman Murphy coming in. He takes it and it's ball one. Barmas has hit safely in 6 of his last 8, but looks like a bunt here.
Give him a swing right here.
It's wide open. He pops up the bunt off the screen.
Kind of jabbed at it.
1-1.
A lot of times when you have your pitcher on second base in a situation like this, you don't want to bunt because you don't think the pitcher is either athletic enough or has been on base enough to feel comfortable getting the proper jump down there. Bud's a good athlete. Bud runs well, so that's not a major concern here.
He chops one through the left side of the infield. It's wide open spaces there with Reyes there behind Norris near second. David Wright's in tight at third. Balk is called, and that helps the Astros cause. Now he won't have to bunt as G has blocked the runners along. Norris to third, Bourne to second. Chad Fairchild with a call from second.
A little rocking motion he did once it came set.
First balk that's been called on G this year. That changes the complexion of the inning quite a bit. Second and third, nobody out. The Mets are going to play the infield back with a 1-1 count. Barmas was trying to lean into that one, and he took it for a strike. 1-2. St. Louis got 3 in the fourth at Cincinnati.
G all over that strike zone. Down and away, up and in.
He got that one in a good spot, and he wound up with a strikeout. Number 2 for him. Exactly what he needed.
Another example of a hitter in an RBI situation, going out of the zone, going out of his game a little bit to try to get that run home. Now G can pitch cautiously with Hunter here, knowing that if he walks him, he'll have the double play in order with Carlos up there, and that would be the prudent strategy, I think, the way Hunter's been swinging it. I'm saying you can't throw him strikes, but if I'm G, I spend as little time in the strike zone as possible in this particular confrontation. I'm trying to get in to hit my pitch just off the edge away or try to run one in on his hands.
That's ball one. Gets stopped by Tolley. Well, Hunter worked his way ahead in the count actually the first time up, and then he hit a line drive to left on a 2-2 pitch. Now he's ahead again here on 1-0. Might very well stay ahead because of the points that you raised, JD. But hitter's always got to be ready for a mistake. That one runs in for ball 2, and it's 2-0.
Yeah, G, you know, there's some pitchers they don't have good enough command of their stuff, and I haven't seen a lot of G, but the little bit I've seen and what I've read, you know, you trust him in this situation to pitch cautiously. Some guys you say, hey, pitch around him, and they end up throwing one right down the middle, and you're in the dugout scratching your head going, what was that? You want to, if the idea is to pitch around a hitter, you pitch the entire sequence as if you're no balls and 2 strikes, and you're trying to get him to chase your pitch.
Now 3-0.
Even on 3-0. If the game plan was to pitch around him, you don't alter it on 3-0.
So no intentional ball 4 here. Curve comes in for a strike. That's a tough pitch.
And that's almost a freebie because a hitter 3-0 is either taking all the way or he's looking for a fastball. If you can drop that hook in there, you can get strike one.
Little roller goes foul.
We talk a lot about good at bats. This is really impressive what G is doing here in the sequence. Now the question is, now you've got 3 balls and 2 strikes. And this is why I know I've run into this problem too. Now you're out there on the mound, you go, I can make a pitch. I can finish him off right here.
And he can too. The last 2 pitches he's made.
But the fear is, do you get a little too aggressive?
Whoa!
Tried to overthrow that curveball. He's trying to go. I'm sure he's trying to go away with that breaking ball, hoping he could get him to chase. Squirted out of his hand.
Dan Warthen, the pitching coach, is on his way. G threw a total of 3 balls in the first inning. That's one of 20 he has thrown since then.
Now he's walking right-handed hitters like crazy. That's 2.
Yep. That curveball, a bit of a problem for him. If it's there, and it was a couple times on Hunter, it is a demonic pitch, but then that one just slipped on him.
And that's sometimes you're thinking, okay, now if I throw my nasty curveball, I can strike him out, and you try to kind of yank on it, you try to ask too much of yourself, and you end up throwing a bad one.
Now the bases are loaded for Carlos Lee, who singled to left field in the second inning. When Lee gets 2 more hits, he will be the 9th active player to have 2,000 hits and 300 homers. Brett Wallace on deck. That's strike 1 call for Dylan G. First place St. Louis got 3 in the 4th and leads Cincinnati after 5, 3-0. With the Tony La Russa imposter on the mound tonight, Kyle Loesch. Huge foul.
He's a Tony La Russa imposter?
He took the lineup card out for the game with the Cubs wearing La Russa's jersey. Sunglasses yesterday.
Nice.
Oh, they had a great time with that on the Cardinal bench. Out into right center field, Beltran will make the catch. Here's the tag. And the front 2 runners move up. It's 1-0 as Bud Norris scores on the sac fly by Lee. And behind him, Michael Bourne goes from second to third. 21st run batted in for Lee.
All right, let's take a look pitch by pitch. G gets strike 1 at the top of the zone with a fastball away. A little cut fastball fouled off, and then probably got too much of the plate for his liking with that 3rd offering 0-2. Especially given that it was in the same exact spot roughly as the last 2. They went fastball away, cutter away, cutter away. If the hitter 3 looks in the same direction, you're asking for solid contact.
Runners at first and third for Wallace.
But imagine if you're Dan Warthen and Terry Collins in the Mets dugout, you're good with that. Right? Give up a run for an out early in the ball game.
Yeah.
Just to avoid that big crooked number. So that puts a little extra on this AB for Brett.
Rolls over on it. Ground ball Murphy. Out number 3. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 men left. 1-0 Astros after 3. Have the most stolen bases in the National League since 2008.
Meep, meep.
Yeah. And now it's Reyes who led off the game with a single to right. Then he was picked off first, coming around for the second time. And showing bunt that time. He dances out of the way and looks at ball one. These guys really with extreme speed.
Yeah, Reyes due to be a free agent at the end of the year, so trade rumors have started to percolate around New York and around Reyes. And that's with some significant financial issues. So a lot of people think that they would almost be forced to trade Reyes as opposed to letting him walk as a free agent. But I'm not so sure that that's the case.
It's an interesting thing to ponder, though. It's this one in the air, and that's exactly what the Astros like to see. Bill Hall has it. On a 2-0 count, he's retired, 1 out. It may be more for reasons, if they do trade Reyes, of competition for the future than financial reasons, because the Mets don't have much of AAA right now, and there is a school of thought that they are better off shopping the veteran players they have right now.
Yeah, if they can get the right package, that's what I mean. I think if you're the Mets right now, you'd listen to anything and everything, and you take nobody off the table. There seems to be this idea that they have to move Reyes, but you don't shake a tree and get players like Jose Reyes. He's 28 years old, and well, he can do a lot of things.
Sure can.
At a premium position.
Totally lines to third, caught by CJ. And then who's going to play shortstop if he's not around?
Yeah. Bud Harrelson? Kevin Elster? Get him out of retirement?
2 outs. And it's David Wright who bounced into a double play. Wright, one of those homegrown players, first round pick in 01. 28 years old, from Norfolk, Virginia.
The interesting thing to watch with the Mets is their closer, Francisco Rodriguez, has a vesting option for $17.5 million if he finishes 55 ball games this year. And the Mets not likely to be in the race, so it's interesting to see how he's used the second half of the season.
Well, Terry Collins has said it won't affect his managing, and he's on a pace to do that right now. And they're in last place.
I just think it's absurd that they would pay him $17 million next year.
He's made 17 appearances. We'll have to see how many games he's finished this year. 3-1. He's finished 13.
That'll be the meter they'll be running at the ballpark at Citi Field. The K-Rod games finished meter.
Yeah. And there's a 2-out walk to right, and that's the second walk of the game. But for instance, you bring in your closer at home in the 9th inning. He gives up a run. You score. You go to extra innings. You change pitchers. He didn't finish the game.
Yeah, so, I don't know how that's written.
Yeah. A lot of things can happen with that. Now Carlos Beltran, who lined out to right, is creating a little conversation at the mound. Beltran became the 8th Met to homer 3 times in a game. First play in the majors to do it this year.
All 3 of them 2-run shots.
Yeah, and they were all with Willie Harris on base. It's a good combination. Throw to first. In one of the articles, Willie Harris referred to Carlos Beltran as El Caballo, the horse. Do we have 2 El Caballos now?
Know.
Didn't know that was his nickname. Strike, and it's 1-1. Well, he could pull a heavy load, and when he was an Astro, as you well recall, once he got into postseason play, he was one of the most dynamic postseason players there has ever been. 8 home runs in that postseason of 04.
It didn't matter what you threw him. Up, down, in, out, hard, soft. He was on everything.
He was. Remember that one home run he hit here off Julian Tavares of the Cardinals?
Yeah, it was kind of like the pitch he hit last time up. Down, right? That Julian sinker down.
Yeah.
Change up, whatever it was. That funky runner down.
Sure was. Line drive, right field corner. Hunter Pence cuts it off on a bounce. Beltran is going to second. The throw looping in, and here's a stop sign at third. So Beltran winds up with a double, his 13th of the year, sending right to third base.
Now, when Beltran's got it going on, he looks like the best player in baseball. It's just amazing how graceful he is, the way he runs, the way he covers the outfield. He throws well, and when his bat speed is there, I mean, look at the bat speed he generates as he just buggy whips that thing into the right field corner. Hunter realizing there's a man on, he's just firing that thing, getting it back into the infield as quickly as possible so somebody's in position to make a play.
Now they work to Jason Bay, who struck out in the second inning. He lines one to left. Carlos Lee over, stretching and catching it. So 2 runs would have been able to score had he not held down to that one, but it's no runs a hit. 2 men stranded on the liner to lead. And the Astros still have the lead, 1-0. To keep the score 1-0 Houston. Now in the home 4th inning, it's Chris Johnson leading it off. He singled to left earlier. Dylan G delivers strike 1. That one is rung up as strike 2. It's Florida 4, Washington 4. They've played 6 in Washington. Lance Nix, a hot bat. He hit his 5th. That bouncer goes foul for David Wright. Gabby Sanchez belted number 7. John Buck his 5th, and Mike Stanton his 6th for Florida.
The Fish.
Fish are 21 and 15.
And that's with getting very little from Hanley Ramirez.
Good point. Oh, that's strike 3. Third strikeout for Dylan G. Time for a look at our Brown Hand Center. Great hands of the game. Carlos Lee in left field. Runners at second and third. Line shot. Could have been a 2-run double. Instead, it's out number 3.
Yeah, there's El Caballo. Well, you know, the fact that he plays so deep really pays off on balls like that. And he plays deep relative, you know, because the fence is so short. allows him to play deep left field, knowing the ball gets over him. A lot of them he's able to hold hitters to singles because he plays the carom so well. But playing as deep as he does, he gets better angles on balls like that.
He just cut straight over toward the line. Bill Hall fouled that one. He is commanding that outside corner.
So, as a pitcher, you need an inning like that every now and then. Bud gave up a walk and 3 rockets there in the 4th, and Mets failed to score.
Nuri Rodriguez sits alongside Bud. Curveball works for a strikeout. That's 4.
That's the pitch he was trying to throw Hunter last inning. He threw behind his head.
Humberto Quintero, just from what we've read about Dylan G, and we're looking at him tonight for the first time, he could be one of those guys who just feels that he needs to have all of his pitches working to be successful.
You know, they had a pretty good right-hander a few years back. Who, no. They've had a lot of good right-handers. I'm thinking of Bobby Jones.
Oh. Yeah.
Who wasn't a real hard thrower, had a good curveball, and just knew how to pitch. He could locate.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what G is all about.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Like Tom Seaver or Dwight Gooden or one of those guys.
Exactly. One of those guys.
It has been a pitching-rich history there in the Queens.
It has been amazing. In the air and easily playable for David Wright or Jose Reyes. Reyes calls him off. Makes it a 1-2-3-4 for Dylan G and a 1-0 lead for the Astros. Angel is
for the first time.
Watched a man walk on the moon.
See, that was what you're thinking. I'm thinking John Cougar Mellencamp. It was the summer of '69. I'm going a whole different direction with that one.
Maybe they went to see him.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Not based on what he was doing.
All right.
Think it over.
We'll think it over. Daniel Murphy leads it off and takes strike 1. He grounded back to Bud Norris in the 2nd inning.
What did they do? Well, the Mets won the World Series.
Yeah. Nothing in common.
They both
there.
have their first winning years that year.
Yes. That's what we think, Patty Smith.
Well, I'll give you a hint. You're getting close.
Oh, we're only getting close.
Jimmy quit. Jody got married. Oh, that's my John Cougar reference again.
Brian Adams.
2 balls and a strike.
Isn't it Brian Adams?
Oh, you're right. That was Brian Adams.
Same genre, though. They're kind of
they're
related, musically related.
You're right. That was Brian Adams.
He got the ball, and she's digging through her bag for her phone so she can call somebody.
Takes a while to dig through that bag. Oh, she got it already. Not to call someone, but to take a photo.
Yeah.
Wade Robinson already texted in, of course, and said that was Brian Adams, not Mellencamp. See, more people are more interested in that than they are in the question itself.
That's right.
Of course. Or the game.
That's the beauty of this.
All right, I'm going to help you guys out a little bit. You were very close, but the answer was both teams had their first 500 seasons.
So now we can't officially call the Astros a winning season.
Well, 81 and 81.
Yeah, that's right. That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Gil Hodges was the manager for the Mets, and of course the Mets went on to win the World Series, as you said.
The Miracle Mets. I didn't realize they won 100 ball games that year. Wow.
Foul ball by Turner. He struck out in the 3rd.
That was in that movie, Oh God, George Burns said that his last miracle was the 69 Mets.
It was quite a run with those great pitchers you talked about. Some terrific defensive work. Not a whole lot of offense. No balls, 2 strikes for Bud Norris on Turner. Bud trying to get a game above 500 with win number 3 of the year. 2 Astros relievers share the club lead in wins. Brandon Lyon and Mark Melancon with 3. That's high for a ball, and it's 1-2. Red Sox and Yankees are tied 2-2. Bottom of the 6th at Yankee Stadium. Clay Buchholz is going for Boston. Adrian Gonzalez hit his 8th for the Sox. Change up hit in the air, and Hunter Pence is waiting in right for the 2nd out. Now it'll be Jason Friday coming up. Well, Hunter was all over the place in that Wednesday game, wasn't he? With the fielding plays, base running, and the game-winning hit. His talents were really on display Wednesday.
And that's why we got a nice crowd here today. But tennis has been down, but it's still fun, even if the home team's not doing a lot of winning, to come to the ballpark and just watch baseball and watch guys perform.
He put on a show. Strike 1 to Friday. Hustled that single into a double in the 7th inning.
And the kids out say, "See, Junior, that's how you play the game."
You can do that with him. No balls, 2 strikes. Detroit leads Kansas City 3-1 after 7 in Detroit. Johnny Peralta hit his 5th. Austin Jackson number 3. Fastball is up for Bud, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. That fastball fouled away. Talking earlier, but the inning ended, about that story in USA Today projecting who might be the next pitcher to throw a no-hitter, and at the end of the article Bud Norris's name was mentioned, but they said it was incomplete because he hasn't completed a game yet in the majors. In the dirt, and it's 2-2.
That's kind of the amazing thing about this run of no-hitters the last couple of seasons, because there are so few complete games. And that's kind of the dilemma the managers are put in. The guys got the no-no going, and they let them extend a little bit beyond the norm.
Got him to chase the fastball. Friday strikes out. That's 5 for Bud Norris. And in the middle of the 5th inning, it's 1-0 Houston. of a pickoff at first. Bud Norris very quick, and he picks off Jose Reyes, who led off the game with a single, and then he was erased on the Norris pickoff to Brett Wallace. Now Norris in the box takes strike one. Home fifth inning. Norris has scored the only run in this game after leading off the third inning with a walk. He scored on the Carlos Lee sac fly. Dylan G pounds it in for a strike, and it's no balls, 2 strikes now. G has thrown 66 pitches in this game. Fastball is up, and it's 1-2. There's the breakdown. Nice pace going, as you noted, very early. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He has not really varied from that pace.
No, and that's what you like to see. You don't want to see a guy who's working quickly all of a sudden slam on the brakes when there's a couple of base runners.
3-2 now to Norris.
And you want to be quick between pitches and work with a quick tempo. I shouldn't say you want to be. I mean, there are guys that work very slowly and are effective, but generally.
Line shot left field. Bay over, Bay slides and he picks it. Well hit out number 1.
There's been some hard outs in this game on both sides. And that's a ball that sometimes gets to be a little bit of an issue for the left fielder with the lights. They'll be able to fight that one off, stay low, and pick it before it hit the dirt.
Very good play.
Dueling left fielders here tonight.
Michael Bourne is 1 for 2. Gets out of the way of the inside heater for ball 1, showing